I'm going to show you how to take a custom GPT that you've already built and turn it into your own standalone AI app that people will actually pay to use, and you don't need to know how to code. So this is a custom GPT I'm starting with, but there's one big problem with it. I don't actually own the customer relationship. I can't put it in my own standalone product, control the customer experience, or charge people directly to use it. So today, I'm taking everything that makes this GPT work and rebuilding it as my own standalone AI app with a user account, subscriptions, and a paywall. And I'm gonna build the entire thing from scratch so you can see exactly how it's done. And we're gonna do this in 4 parts. So first, we'll get your GPT out of ChatGPT so it's running independently. Second, we're gonna put it online so you have a live app that you can actually share. Third, we'll add users so people can create accounts and log in. And finally, we'll add payments so people can actually pay to use it. So by the end of this video, you'll know how to take what you built inside ChatGPT and turn it into your own standalone AI product that you can actually monetize. And if you're new here, I'm Dr. Erin Jacques. I'm a professor and AI strategist, and I teach people how to build AI-powered web apps that people actually pay to use. But before we start building, I want you to understand why learning how to do this actually matters. Because here's the hard truth about AI and the economy. There's a lot of concern right now about AI replacing people's work, and it's justified. But here's what's happening on the other side. PwC, for instance, latest AI jobs barometer found that jobs requiring AI skills are growing almost 8 times faster than the overall job market. And workers with AI skills are commanding an average 62% wage premium. So while AI is changing the workforce, there's also a huge opportunity for people who are actually learning how to build with it. And that's what you're going to learn today. You're not just learning how to build a custom GPT. You're learning how to take an idea and turn it into a real product using AI that people will actually pay you for. And as you can probably tell by the length of this video, we have a lot to cover. But I don't want you to give up halfway through. So here's what I want you to do. Close out all your other tabs, grab a notebook, get coffee, tea, whatever is going to keep you locked in, and make a commitment to yourself right now to actually finish this training. And save this video so you can come back to it. Let's get your GPT out of ChatGPT. I'm going to show you how to take a custom GPT that you've already built and turn it into your own standalone AI app that people will actually pay to use. And you don't need to know how to code. So this is a custom GPT I'm starting with. But there's one big problem with it. I don't actually own the customer relationship. I can't put it in my own standalone product, control the customer experience, or charge people directly to use it. So today, I'm taking everything that makes this GPT work and rebuilding it as my own standalone AI app with a user account, subscriptions, and a paywall. And I'm going to build the entire thing from scratch so you can see exactly how it's done. And we're going to do this in 4 parts. So first, we'll get your GPT out of ChatGPT so it's running independently. Second, we're going to put it online so you have a live app that you can actually share. Third, we'll add users so people can create accounts and log in. And finally, we'll add payments so people can actually pay to use it. So by the end of this video, you'll know how to take what you built inside ChatGPT and turn it into your own standalone AI product that you can actually monetize. And if you're new here, I'm Dr. Erin Jacques. I'm a professor and AI strategist, and I teach people how to build AI-powered web apps that people actually pay to use. But before we start building, I want you to understand why learning how to do this actually matters. Because here's the hard truth about AI and the economy. There's a lot of concern right now about AI replacing people's work, and it's justified. But here's what's happening on the other side. PwC, for instance, latest AI jobs barometer found that jobs requiring AI skills are growing almost 8 times faster than the overall job market. And workers with AI skills are commanding an average 62% wage premium. So while AI is changing the workforce, there's also a huge opportunity for people who are actually learning how to build with it. And that's what you're going to learn today. You're not just learning how to build a custom GPT. You're learning how to take an idea and turn it into a real product using AI that people will actually pay you for. And as you can probably tell by the length of this video, we have a lot to cover. But I don't want you to give up halfway through. So here's what I want you to do. Close out all your other tabs, grab a notebook, get coffee, tea, whatever is going to keep you locked in, and make a commitment to yourself right now to actually finish this training. And save this video so you can come back to it. All right, let's get your GPT out of ChatGPT. All right, so I have this doc that we're going to follow. We're going to follow each one of these steps, and I'm going to show you the steps laid out here on this document. And this is in my school community. And then we are going to individually go into each step and make sure that we can get this all done. All right, so this is Custom GPT, right, into your own paid AI app. Super exciting. So we already know why it's really important to be able to own your own custom assistant, and it's under your domain, and that you can put a paywall behind it. So what's the first thing we're going to do? We're going to go into VS Code. We're going to install the code.visual studio. And so I'm going to go through the steps first, and then we're going to do them individually. And then we're going to go into Claude Code. We're going to add the code extension by Anthropic. We're going to then go to council.anthropic.com. We're going to grab your API key. And once we do that, after that, we're going to create a Supabase account and a free Stripe account. You should be able to create the Stripe account yourself. I won't necessarily walk you through creating the Stripe account, but you should be able to do that. But I will show you where you need to access the keys that you need to. All right, so super excited. Let's start with this. So I've gone to code.visualstudio.com, and what this is, it's a universal link. So once you're there, it'll show you the computer that you're on. I'm on a Mac. If you're on Windows, it'll say download for Windows. So I'll download for Mac OS. I won't go through this because I've already done it. And then I will show you, you'll go through the process of making sure that it's downloaded and it's on your computer. This might take a little bit of time, so just follow the process and make sure it's downloaded. Okay, now I'm in Visual Studio Code. Now for me on the Mac, it appears at the bottom right in the toolbar. I'll click on Visual Studio Code, or I can go right into my app finders and find it. You'll see probably it says welcome. For me, I close everything out. So this is what my Visual Studio Code looks like. But once you're here, you want to make sure the Visual Studio Code itself is a code editor. You want to point it to a folder. So you want to go into File. You want to click on Open Folder. And from there, you want to let it know what folder you want it to access. So for me, I'm creating a brand new folder. I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm going to call it Custom GPT. I will create it. That folder is now empty. There's nothing in that folder at all. I click on open, and now what you see here is you see this Custom GPT here that lets me know that is the one that it is pointing to from VS Code. I am then going to go on the tabs on the left, and I'm going to click on extensions. So this is where I can get access to a lot of different applications. And right now I want to go and access Claude Code. So I'll put Claude Code, and I'm going to look for the official Claude Code with the check mark by Anthropic. Once I'm here, I want to make sure that I do two things. I want to install it. For me, it says uninstall because it's already installed. And then I want to enable it for the workspace. Whenever you're pointing it to a brand new folder, you will have to enable it for that workspace. The workspace essentially is that new folder that you're working in. So I'm going to enable the workspace, but you'll do both install and you'll enable the workspace. You want to indicate that you trust a folder. You can continue. And I just don't like things to be really busy, so I'm going to close this out. And from here, I am going to go right into the Sunburst over here on the left. That's going to allow me to go into Claude Code. I'm going to click on New Session. And each one of these sessions are just like regular chat sessions. If you're in your browser or if you're using Claude in the desktop, it's the same kind of setup. So now I am in a position where I can put my very first prompt in. So super exciting. So I'm going to go back to that doc that I've been showing you. We're going to walk through that doc and we're going to enter that first prompt that's in the doc. Okay, so I'm back in this doc, and now I am prompted I can install this skill. So this is already set up. I have this set up in my GitHub, and it's ready. It's available for you. It's public. And we're going to copy this prompt that's here. Now I'm back in Claude Code, the extension that's in VS Code, and I'm going to paste in this prompt. So it just tells me to download this. I'm going to press enter, and it's going to go through the process of asking me for permission to be able to do this task. So I won't show you all the check marks. I'm not going to go through every permission that it asks, but just say, yes, you're going to allow it to do. For instance, now it's asking me to allow for the skill MD file. You're just going to go through and just indicate yes, yes, yes. So now that this skill is installed, the next thing I want to do is I want to go back to my doc again and see what the next step is. And again, we're following this doc to a T. So the next thing you need to do is prompt 2. And which just says, build me a custom AI assistant. So we're going to copy this, and you can say any variation that you really want of this so it can pick up the skill, but we're copy this and then we're going to bring it right over to Claude Code. So I say, build me a custom AI assistant. I press enter, and it is going to go through the process of asking me a few questions to see what I actually want to have built. All right, so the first question that pops up on screen is, what is your assistant about? What's the topic, area of expertise? So I have a few different options to choose from. For in this case, your guides are going to select other, and you are going to put in the instructions that is in your ChatGPT custom GPT. So let's go over to ChatGPT, get your custom instructions, and put that in here. So I went over to ChatGPT. I'm in one of the custom GPTs that I built, and I'm going right into the instructions. I'm going to copy all of it, and I'm going to bring it right over to Claude Code. So I'm going to paste in the answer here, press enter. The next question, it asks me, how should the assistant's personalities instruction get dealt with? I'm just going to go with what's recommended in terms of the personality of the GPT. You can decide to put whatever you'd want for this. And it says, what should the chat interface look like? I'm going to go with the recommended clean ChatGPT style recommended. And will this eventually sit behind a paywall? I'm going to say, yes, eventually. I plan for it, but still build the assistant first and get it online before touching payments. So yes. And I'm going to submit my answers. It's going to go through the process of building out the necessary files that I need so that we can get this rolling. All right, so now all the necessary files have been built. It has your assistant instructions, it has a knowledge folder, and it has all these other files. But what's also pretty interesting is the way I set up the skill is that I wanted a pop-up to appear, which I'll show you now, so that you can know exactly where you need to enter your Anthropic secret key. So after the very last command that I accepted, this popped up so that I can enter my Anthropic key. But first, we're going to go and grab the key. So I'm going to close this out for now. So before we do that, let's just go back to our wonderful steps that we're following. So we indicated build me a custom AI assistant. It did that. It went through asking you the 4 questions. Part of those questions were for you to actually give it the instructions that came from your custom GPT. And with those instructions, it created an assistant instructions.md file for you, and it created a knowledge folder so you can drop in PDFs, knowledge files that you have for this assistant. If you have knowledge content that the assistant is trained on, you want to be able to drop it in there. And now you have to go to console.anthropic.com to get the API keys. So let's do that together. So I've gone over and I've clicked on get an API key. I'll enter the name of my key, and then I will click on create a key. I'm going to call this key test key. I'll set an expiration date for me. Right now, it'll just be 3 hours. Now back in VS Code, I don't see that pop up anymore. Don't worry, because we're going to go to the .env file, right? That .env file sits on my computer, but I'll just click on folders here, or this folder tab on the left. And I'll click on .env, and the key information is here. This is a naming convention, Anthropic _API _key. I paste in that key right there. So you want to make sure that no one gets access to this key. This is really important, really, really important. You don't want this key laying around and people using it, because then they're just going to rack up a bill on your behalf. So you don't want that. And while we're here, let's look at the other files that we're seeing here. So here's the knowledge area where you can add different documentation that's helpful to you. But most importantly, you have the assistant instructions.md file. So these is the instruction, the same instructions I copied and I pasted from the custom GPT and ChatGPT. Now it's here. So if I ever want to change the instructions and how this particular custom assistant operates, I just go in here and I make modifications here. You have another few files that are pretty important. The package.json file. So this lists the pre-written code that your assistant needs to run. You have your tsson config file. This is where I set the rules for how my code gets checked for errors and turned into a version that the computer can actually run. But let's close out of this so we don't have any clutter laying around. I'm going to close out of the assistant instructions MD file. I'm also going to close out of this .env file. It's asking me, do you want to save the changes you made? Yes. Okay, so now I'm back in this file that we're following, and we've done a few different things, right? We've copied this prompt over, we've gone into Anthropic, we've gotten our key, we've placed our key into the .env file, and now we're going to put in this prompt, and that is to run it. We're going to say, I'm going to copy it, and you're going to say, start the app and give me the link to open it. So I'm back into Claude Code, and I'm just saying that exact prompt. And I'm going to go through the same permissions again and accept. Okay, so now it's done. I've asked to see what it looks like on my local computer. So I'm going to click on this link, and this is what it looks like. So this is my GPT, or my custom assistant now, right? That asks people questions, and it's going to help them to write a product requirements document. So I'll say, I'm ready. Let's build my PRD. And it's working the way I want to. If for some reason I don't like it, I want to modify, I'm going to go right into my assistant's instructions file, and I'm going to make those modifications there. And that's it. Part 1 is done. Super exciting. If your GPT instructions are thin, or you don't have a GPT at all yet, I've got instruction files already written for you. You can copy it and you're done. That's in my AI-powered web app community, where we build this and so much more as we focus on building web apps that people actually pay to subscribe to. Now we're on part 2. So part 1 is done. Your assistant is up and running on your computer, but it's only on your computer and nobody else can really see it yet. So part 2 is putting it online. So we have a real link you can actually send someone. And the first part to doing that is GitHub. So you're going to go to github.com, and GitHub is just fantastic. It stores your code in the cloud. So you've got a backup and you can get a history. So let's say you change something, you don't like something, you can just go back to a previous version history and access the previous way that your application looked. So again, if you don't have an account, this is important. You're going to go to github.com and you are going to create a free account. Very simple. You're going to go to sign up and you'll create your account. Okay, so now we're back on this doc we've been working on. And again, I said that we are on part 2. We're putting it live. And if you can look at this very first prompt, we're going to use this first prompt. It says, push this to a new private GitHub repo. Confirm my .env file is excluded before you push. If I'm not signed in to GitHub yet, walk me through connecting it. So we're going to copy this and we're going to bring it over to Claude Code. So now I'm back in Claude Code. I'm not going to put in the same exact prompt, but this is the prompt that you would have copied and pasted in. I put in a little different prompt because I already have my GitHub connection. So if you do too, you can say, push this to a new private GitHub repo, confirm my .env file is excluded before you push. But if you don't, say, if I'm at this extension, if I'm not signed into GitHub yet, walk me through connecting it. So it does a connection for you. So again, for you, if this is your first time, Claude's going to open a browser window and ask you to authorize your GitHub. You're going to click yes, and it's just going to keep going to make sure that you have all the other authorization and the connection so that you are connected and wired up to GitHub. And if any of these steps are giving you any problems or you're feeling a little stressed about it, I have a community. So it's right linked in the descriptions. You want to join my school community. You get all the support that you need throughout all this process. So you can have a solid infrastructure in place, and you can also have a wonderful workflow so that you can build all kinds of things. Okay, so now let's push it out to GitHub. We can see there's a link right here that lets me know that it is live on my GitHub, and I can show you what that looks like. So I'm in GitHub right now, and I can see all the files that I had locally on my folder on my computer are also now in the cloud So I have it 2 places, which is really good. I have it locally on my computer. I can test things out. I also have it in GitHub. And the next thing I want to do is I want to connect GitHub to my hosting platform so that I have a live URL link and it's hosted somewhere. It's live. It's a URL that I can share with anyone that I want. It's not just locally on my computer. And the hosting platform where I'm going to show you is also going to be able to store all my secret keys for me. So I can have my secret keys stored 2 places. I can have it stored locally on my computer so I can test things out and see if things are moving and working well. But I also want to have it somewhere in the cloud so that I can have things functioning live, where other people can access it, use it, and my clients can pay to actually use my custom AI assistant. So we're moving along really well. We're going to get us a Vercel account. So you're going to go to vercel.com. You're going to create a Vercel account, get a free account, and it'll ask you if you want to create a professional or a hobby account. You can just select a hobby account. That's completely free. And the next thing I'm going to show you, I'm going to go to Vercel and I'm going to show you how you're going to connect your Vercel to GitHub. So I'm in Vercel. I've used that particular link, vercel.com/new, and it's going to give me an opportunity to connect my GitHub project to Vercel. So here in the drop-down menu, I will add a GitHub account. It'll ask me for a verification code. Okay, and at this point, I will be given the option to select the repository. I have a lot of different repos in GitHub. I will select the one that I'm using now. So I'm going to it is called the PRD Builder. I'll save. It says GitHub installation completed. So now that I'm in Vercel and I see the installation is completed, I can go and I can import it. So I'm going to import it right here. And I'm going to go through the process of deploying it. I'm going to continue to dashboard and I can click on this link. And now this is live, the same one that I had before, the one that was running locally, it's live here. But here's the difference. I'm going to say, I'm ready, let's start. And nothing's going to happen because no API key has been found. So the API key, the dot that I have in the .env file lives locally on my computer. I need to make sure that is also in Vercel. That's going to save those keys for me in a secure place. So back into Vercel, I'm going to go into that project, which is the PRD Builder. Once I'm here, I want to click on environment variables to my left. And I want to add the environment variable. What I'm going to be adding is I will add the naming convention for the Anthropic, and then I will add the actual value. So I'm just going to go back to my .env file that lives locally on my computer. I'm going to grab the key name, and I'm going to grab the actual value. So back here, I'm in my .env file. I'm going to go grab it. So I'm going to grab the naming convention. Back into Vercel. I'll put it under key, and then that starts with the SK, the actual authentication key. I'll go grab that. I'll place that here as well, and then I'll save. After I've saved the key, it'll ask me if I want to redeploy. You can redeploy here. You can also go into Claude Code, and it'll do this for you when it commits any new changes to GitHub anyway. Okay, so now back into this file, you'll see that we've done both pieces. We went to Vercel, we connected it to GitHub. In Vercel, we also added the new environment variable. We added the Anthropic API key. It's all deployed. So we have finished part 1 and part 2, and you can send that live link now to someone, and they can already start working in your custom AI assistant. So I'm back in Vercel and I'm in that project, and here's the link right here. I can just grab it and they have that link. And now I'm going to click on I'm ready, let's start, and we're going to get a different response. And it says it's working because I needed to enter the key. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get us a Supabase account. So we have 2 parts left. This is what's going to allow people to log in, log out. So we make sure that people that actually have accounts and have paid, that they actually have access, they're not gated, and they can use your custom AI assistant. So that is the step 3. And then step 4, we're going to make sure that we connect it so that we can receive the payments. In Vercel, you get a web address that has Vercel's name in it. Putting your own domain on it in a business email that matches, that takes about 5 minutes. I walk you through the whole process in my AI-powered web app community. Okay, so now we're on part 3. Part 2 is done. Your app is live and anyone with the link can use it. But you have no idea who they are and you can't charge someone you can't identify. So part 3 is really about adding the accounts. So let's add your logins. We're going to go to the Supabase to do that. So you're going to click on supabase.com and you are going to create a new project. So first, obviously, you're going to have to create an account. So in Supabase, you'll log in, you'll sign up, you'll log in, you'll create an account. And once you're in Supabase, so the first thing it's going to prompt you to do when you're in Supabase is to create an organization. You'll create a new organization, any name you want, make it personal, and then create the organization. I won't do this because I already have organizations created on Supabase. Now, once you're in the organization, you will create a new project. You'll give your project a name. I'll call mine Custom GPT. I will just use a strong password. You want to make sure that you enable automatic RLS. So this line right here, enable RLS again, the role level security, that means that each person can see their own record. Without it, anyone could read your whole customer list or worse, mark themselves as paid. So you definitely don't want to skip this. So you want to enable automatic RLS. And then you're going to create the project. All right, so let's go back to our documentation so we can see where we are in the steps. So we're back in the documentation. Let's see where we are in the steps. So we've already created an account in Supabase. We have a new project already set up. And now we need to set our login URLs. So we're going to go into Supabase and we're going to make sure that when someone signs up and they're going to be asked to confirm their email address, that it goes to a URL that makes sense for them. So let's follow these steps. So in Supabase, I want to go to authentication. So I'm going to look here on the left side. I'm seeing all these different tabs and I want to find the one that says authentication. I found it. And from here, I'm going to go into URL configuration. And this localhost URL, this would be if I want to view my application on my computer locally. But this is not what we want someone else to go to because they'll see nothing. It'll look like everything's broken when they confirm their email address. So we want to make sure that we change this site URL that's here. So what we're going to put, we're going to go to Vercel. We're going to get the actual URL that the application is on live. And we're going to put that URL here. So I'm in Vercel. I'm clicking on the project and I'm going to grab this URL. So once I've copied the URL, I'm going to go back to Supabase to paste it in. I'm going to replace this and I'm going to click on Save Changes. So again, it's important that you change this because this is where Supabase sends people by default. So including confirmation emails, password resets, it will default to the local host if you don't have something else here. So if you don't change it, every confirmation email you send users will point them back at their own computer, and that will just be odd. All right, so let's continue to follow our documentation to see where we are in the process. Okay, so now we're at the part where we're adding the login and we're gating it only for paid users. Well, at least we're going to start the process for people who will be paid users. We're add Supabase login so people can create an account. So this is what the prompt says, and log in and gate the assistant so only logged in users can use it. I've already created my Supabase project, so don't tell me to make one. Ask me once for all 3 values, the project URL, the publishable key, the secret key, and put them in my .env now, even if the secret key isn't used until I add payments later. So I'm going to copy this. And then I'm going to bring this right over to Claude Code. So I'm going to paste this in and let it do its thing. Okay, so now you're going to see that a text edit window has just popped up and is asking me, well, it has my Anthropic API key. It's asking me to enter my Supabase URL, my Supabase publishable key, and also my Supabase secret key. So let's go grab them. We're going to put them here and then they'll be locally on my computer. But we're also going to put those same keys in Vercel, just like we did with the Anthropic API key earlier. So now I'm back in Supabase and I can click on the Home Project Overview And the first thing I'm going to see here in terms of keys, I'm going to see my project URL key. I'm going to see my publishable key, and I'll take you to where to get the actual secret key. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to bring it back into my .env folder locally. So there's a few steps, and I'm just going to tell you what they are and you can follow them. I'll do one with you and then you'll do the rest on your own. So at that point, you can just pause the video here and then go and do the rest of that. So I copied the project URL. Now I don't see that pop up anymore. And don't let that disturb you. Just go into the folder. So the text editor, I don't see where I can enter the .env file. Go here and then go right into your .env. It is all here waiting for you. Next public Supabase URL, you just paste that in. So I'm pasting that in here. Then I'm going to paste in my publishable key, and I'm going to paste in Supabase secret key. So I'm going to show you where to get the publishable key. So back in Supabase, here's the publishable key here, and I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go back into .env. I'm going to paste that in. So that's pasted in. What's missing here is for me to paste in my Supabase secret key. I'll go back into Supabase. I'm going to go into project settings down here. I will click on API keys. Then I'm going to go grab my secret key. Also, by the way, the publishable key that you had earlier, it's the same key that's here. And in the secret key, I can just copy this key right over. And I'm going to bring it over to the .env file. Now remember, the keys that you brought over locally, that helps you to test things on your local computer. But if you want to test things live, you also have to bring these keys over to Vercel. That same process I went through, I'm going to go through the process one more time, not in its entirety, but in Vercel. So I'm back in Vercel. It's really important when I'm here that I'm actually in the project. So I'm going to leave the project so you can see what I'm talking about. So a lot of different projects here. I want to be in the one that I'm working on, and it's this one. I click in there and then I click into environment variables. If you click into environment variables from the home tab, you are not specifying which project you're talking about. And then in environment variables, I'm going to add an environment, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go and get the same exact naming convention. So I can take these directly from my .env file. In VS Code, I'm going to copy, and I'm going to be very careful about it. I'm going to copy my next public Supabase URL. I'm going to copy that over. I'm going to make sure there's no space before or after it. Then I'm going to grab the Supabase URL, and I'm going to copy that over as well. I'm going to paste that right into values, and I'm going to press save. It's going to ask me, do I want to redeploy? I won't bother redeploying until I bring them all over. So I'm going to do that. You can pause this video at this point. You go do that as well. I'm going to bring them all over, and then we'll resume. So if any of this is feeling stressful for you and you really want support, I have a community where this is what we do. We build things, we get support, and you get support directly from me. Link in the description. Join my school community where we build AI-powered web apps, and you get all the support that you need to make this happen. And it doesn't feel stressful at all. And it becomes really an easy part of kind of your day. You understand how to build applications using AI. Okay, now you see I brought all the keys over, and now I'm going to redeploy so that everything takes into effect. Okay, so now that we've entered all the keys, we're back in our steps, and we're going to put this prompt in that says push these changes to GitHub so my live site gets the login. So we're going to copy that, and we're going to bring it right to Claude Code. Paste that in, and we'll let it do its thing. All right, so now that we've entered in that prompt, let's see what this new URL looks like. Okay, so now here's what the new URL looks like. Let's create an account. Let's try it. And I'm going to enter a test email. It's creating the account. It says account created, and I need to go confirm the email. And so here's the email that I have, and I'm going to confirm the email address, and it takes me right here. So now when I create an account, I can get access to this. So this is working the way that I want it to work. And now we're going to just go into Supabase to make sure that we see the actual user that I just created. So now I'm back in Supabase and I'm going to go into authentication. And right here in users, I'm seeing the user, the email address that I just created, the account that I just created with test@earlyscholarsny.com. It says the date that I was created. So that user now is in. So the good thing is now anybody can create an account and use this, but they can use it for free. So now we're going to go into part 4 and we're going to put a paywall in front of it. And that is our 4th and final step. So hang in there. So part 3 is done. People can sign up, they can log in, but they're still all using it for free. So now we're at part 4 where people can add payments. So that way we can get paid. For that, you're going to need a Stripe account. If you already have one, you're good to go. You'll just log in. If not, let's get over to Stripe. So if you don't have a Stripe account, you're definitely going to pause the video here and you're going to go set up one. It's free. It'll ask you for your legal details and bank information. So that's something obviously that we can't do together. Once you're in Stripe, you want to go on the side left panel and then you want to look for product catalog. Here, you're going to create a new product and you can name it. I'll name it PRD Builder. Provide a description if you'd like. Upload an image. For me, I'm going to say reoccurring product. I'll price it at $19.99. And I will also indicate that the tax is included in the price. And then you'll click add product. Once you add the product, you're going to see a price ID at the bottom. We're going to come back and grab this price ID. We're going to need it later. Now I'm back here in the steps and I want you to just see that we did the Stripe product catalog and we are now going to put this prompt into Claude Code. And we're just going to say add all the Stripe environment variables to my .env with the empty values. So I can open the file for me to publish so I can add my publishable key, secret key, price ID, webhook signing secret using whatever name the code will expect. Include the webhook one, even though I won't have that value until later and so forth. So you're going to copy this and you're going to bring it right into Claude Code. So I pasted the prompt into Claude Code. And then now if I go back into my .env, what I'll see is I will see that it added this information for me. So I already had my Anthropic key, my Supabase URL and publishable keys from earlier, but now I have some new things to enter. I have to enter my Stripe publishable key. I have to enter my Stripe secret key, the Stripe price ID, and the Stripe webhook secret. And again, that is in your .env file, which is over to the left. And if for whatever reason you don't see this over here, you just need to click on the folders tab right here to the left and it'll appear. Okay, so the next step in the process, if we're following our documentation, we need to go and get the price ID, we need to go get the publishable key, and we need to go get this secret key. These 3 are available to us right now in Stripe. We're going to enter it in the .env file, and then we're also going to bring those same keys over to Vercel. So let's do that. So back in Stripe, I'm looking for the price ID. It is down here. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to bring it over to the .env file. I'll paste it here. Now I'm going to go get the publishable key and the secret key. For that in Stripe, I'm going to go to the gear icon. So go to settings. I will go into developers. Then I will go to manage API keys. And from here, I'm going to grab my publishable key. I'm going to click to copy. I'm going to bring it into VS Code. I'm going to paste in the publishable key. And the last key for me to go get now is my Stripe secret key, at least for now. So here it says create a secret key. I'll create a secret key. Here I'm going to select that I want the key to power an integration that I built. You're going to be asked to give your key a name. Call it whatever you'd like. Then you'll copy the key and you'll bring it over. Now that I've pasted the key, I need to then, if you remember correctly, what we've been doing is I'm going to take these same keys, the publishable key, the secret key, the price ID, and I'm going to bring all of those over to Vercel. So as a reminder, when you're in Vercel, you might have a variety of different projects. You click in the one that you want. And then from there, you go into environment variables. I have a lot of environment variables that are already set. The next one that I want to add now are the Stripe variables. So I'm going to do that one by one, and we don't need to do them all together. You know the steps now. You can do it on your own. I'll do the very first one. I still have the copied secret key, so I'm just going to paste that here. And I'm going to go get the exact naming convention that I already have for the key name. So for that, I go into VS Code, and I literally copy Stripe secret key. Back into Vercel. I paste that in. I want to make sure there's no spaces. And then I click on save. So I'm just going to go off camera right now, so you can pause the video. I'm going to add everything in, and you should do the same thing. Okay, as you can see, I've entered those 3 keys. I've entered the Stripe secret key, the Stripe price ID, and the publishable key. So I'm going to redeploy. All right, so now we're back in the doc. And the first thing that we're going to do now is we're going to create a coupon. I want to set up a way for us to test this without you paying yourself. Now, Stripe has a test mode where you can put a fake card number, but honestly, it's a lot of copying and pasting and switching between modes. And I don't want you to get frustrated and quit. So we're not going to do that. We're going to do a simpler path. We're going to make a coupon that takes 100% off. And then you can go through your own checkout, enter the code, and see the whole thing work end to end, start to finish, real flow. And then there's no money exchanged. So back in Stripe, in product catalog, you're going to go over to the coupons tab, and then you're going to create a coupon. Now I'm going to name it. I'll name it test access. I will put percentage off 100%. Duration, I will put forever. I need to apply it to a specific product. So I'm going to find the product. And in this case, I'm going to find my PRD builder. I'm going to leave redemption unchecked. And the next thing is I'm going to check use customer facing promotion code. So now I need to provide the code name exactly. And I'm going to call it test access again, no space. And now I'm going to click on create coupon. So now we're going to take this prompt and we're going to bring it over to Claude Code, but we're going to copy it. And before I do that, let's just go through it. So first thing, it's asking for a subscription button. So that's the button that people are going to click to pay. And then it's asking for a webhook handler. So when someone pays, that happens on Stripe's server. My app never sees it. So the webhook is how Stripe tells my app that someone has paid so it can unlock their access. And what you're seeing is that Claude builds that part that receives the message. Later, I will then tell Stripe where to send it. Next is asking for row level security. Anything recording who's paid has to be read-only for users. So only the webhook writes to it. Otherwise, someone marks himself as subscribe and skips paying. And the last part of this is about turning on promotion codes. So this is instead of Stripe's test mode. Test mode that Stripe has means literally switching modes, swapping keys, pasting fake cards in. And I think it's frustrating. It's going to be a lot of different steps. So instead, we're going to use 100% off coupon on the real checkout. So that line puts the promo box there. And then it's also saying only to ask for a card if money is owed. And the last part of it is to save the SQL code. So it's going to write your SQL code for you, and then I will show you where you're going to place it. So we'll copy this over and we'll place it into Claude Code. Okay, so now once the prompt is finished running in Claude Code, you're going to go on the left side. You're going to click on the folders here. And then you're going to make sure you go right into Supabase, click Supabase on the left, and you'll see schema.sql. You're going to go grab that code, click on it. You'll copy this code over, and we're going to bring this code into Supabase. Now I'm back in Supabase. I'm in that project that I created. On the left panel, I see all these different tabs. I want to go and I want to find the one that says SQL. So SQL editor, I click on that. So here it's just telling me that I want to make sure that I save my code after I enter. So I understand that. And here I'm going to paste that information that I got from Claude Code. I'm going to paste it here. It's all here. So I want to make sure that I run and save. I'm going to run it. So here you'll get a warning here that's essentially saying this could remove data. It won't. Nothing in the file deletes anything. It's doing that because it sees the word drop in the actual code. It's only creating your tables and setting up the rules for who can see what. So you want to just click run query. And then I'm going to click save. So now we're back into the documentation. We're going to take this prompt and copy it. So essentially it's saying put these changes to GitHub so my live site gets the payment, right? Because things are working locally. Then give me the full webhook URL to paste into Stripe, my live site address, plus the path you created. My live site address is, you want to make sure you give your live site address. So let's go into VS Code and we're going to go do that. So now we're back in Claude Code. We're going to paste this in. Remember, we have to change the URL here. So we're going to go to Vercel and we're going to grab that URL. And it's the URL we've been using. It's our application URL. So I'm back in Vercel and I'm going to grab the short URL. So just going to click on this. I've copied the URL from Vercel and I'm going to replace it here and press enter. Now it gives me the webhook URL that I need. And it also tells me the different sessions that I need to create in Stripe. So I'm going to copy this over. Now back into Stripe, I'm literally just going to type in webhook here in the search bar. And I'll click on create a webhook. So now that I'm on the screen, I'm going to keep it on your account. So from here, I'm going to go into all events and I'm going to search for the 4 that I need. So one that I need is definitely checkout session completed. So I'll click on that. Now I'm going to search for customer dot subscription. And I see the ones that I want. I need customer subscription created, customer subscription deleted, and customer subscription updated. I'm going to continue. The webhook endpoint is already selected. I will continue. And then I need to enter in a destination name and an endpoint URL. For the destination name, I'll put anything. I'll just put PRD Builder. Now for the endpoint URL, that is where you enter the address that you got from VS Code. So ultimately, it's the spot that listens for payment messages. So Stripe doesn't know where my app lives. I have to tell it. So this is me saying, when someone pays, send it here. So now I'm going to enter the endpoint URL, the one I received earlier from Claude Code. I'm going to paste that here. So this endpoint URL is the address inside my app that listens for Stripe. So when someone pays, Stripe sends a message with who paid and what they paid for. And obviously my app is going to need that message to know who to let in versus who not to give access to. So again, ultimately, Stripe doesn't know where my app lives. So this is me telling it, send the messages here. I can put a description. I'm just going to click create destination. So now let's go back to our documentation and see where we are. So we have entered the destination webhook URL. We've created the checkout session completed, subscription created, subscription updated, subscription deleted. So the next thing we need to do is we need to copy the signing secret into our .env file. So it's a Stripe webhook secret. And then we're also going to obviously put it in our Vercel. And then we're going to test things end to end. So the next page that you should see in Stripe is you can see the webhook secret key. So you'll have to copy that. So here it is. You can reveal it and copy it. Now that I've copied it, I'm going to go back to VS Code. I'm going to go right into my .env file. And that's the last key that it's waiting for. And I'm going to paste it in. Similarly, I'm going to be in Vercel. I'm going to go to environment variables and I'm going to add a new environment variable. The value is where that string, that long key goes. And for the naming convention, I'll just go right back to VS Code and I'll grab it. I'll copy it from there back into Vercel. I paste it in, make sure there's no extra spacing. And then I click on save. I will redeploy. All right, we're at the tail end here. We're going to test the whole thing. We're going to create a new account. We're going to subscribe using our 100% off promo code, and we're going to get in. Remember, our promo code was called Test Access. So let's go try it. So I already created an account. I'm going to go into the account I created and I click on sign in and it says I need to subscribe. So I will subscribe to that I will open the checkout, and then I'll add my promotion code. I apply it, and I subscribe. I'm in. All done. Okay, so you finished the process and you've got a real user. They signed up and never heard from you. So setting up an automatic welcome email so people actually come back is the next thing I'd add. That's in my AI-powered web app community. And here's what I want you to notice. What you just built is the same thing a small business would pay 4 figures for. You now know how to build it in an afternoon for yourself or for a client. Now, if you need help setting this up, or you want to get really good at doing this for other people, join my AI-powered web app community. That's where we go deeper, the custom domain, the welcome emails, finding the client, and knowing what to charge them. Links below. Go build yours.